Okay, hi friends. I got a bunch of new stuff from Sephora, and a few people asked me what I got. So I thought that I would run you through what I got and give you a bit of an idea of what my first thoughts on it are, and maybe show you a look that I put together using some of the things that I bought. So that's what we're going to do today. So, if you buy a box from Sephora, it will come in a box like this with the black and white stripes on it, so you always know what you're getting if you've never bought from Sephora before. Um, if you're new to makeup completely. And when you open it up, you'll get all your stuff in there. I've already opened mine, so my stuff is out. They usually will give you things, free samples when you order in the mail if you're a member. So this time I got some highlighting powder and a hyaluronic self-tanning serum that I probably won't use because I don't really use self-tanners, but those are always nice to get. Sorry if you can hear my chair squeaking a little bit, it's kind of bad. Also, because I'm a member, I collect points every time I buy stuff, and now I have quite a few because I've been buying a lot of stuff recently. I tend to buy my bases from Sephora because they sit on my skin a little bit better than the like drugstore brands. They're more expensive, but if I'm going to use it a lot, I feel like it's worth it. Things like Maybelline and those sort of drugstore brands, they often do really good mascaras and things like that, so I'll buy those from there oftentimes, although I have switched to Sephora mascara in recent years. Sephora, the brand, I like to use their brand for bases as well because you always know your number. You can walk in and know your numbers for everything really easily, and they always have something like similar products to what you've had before, whereas a lot of the other brands that they stock, they chop and change a lot. So that is a benefit of going with the Sephora brand itself, is that you get that. Sorry if I'm a bit red today. I had a glass of wine with lunch and I'm super pale and my face just gets really flushed when I do that. So because I collected a bunch of points, I got to spend them on something this time, and one of the things they had was this little kit by Tarte that has, first of all, it has a bronzer in it, which is the Amazonian Clay Waterproof Bronzer. It comes in this little container and it's called Park Ave Princess, and I think it's a medium shade, this one. So that's the shade there. And then it's quite nice. It's you know, not too dark for my very fair skin, I feel. And it's got a little bit of shimmer to it, which is nice, but not too much. Not like it would be a highlighter type of thing. Just enough to add some contrast and some interest to your face. So I probably will use that one. I was a little worried when I ordered it that this was going to be too dark, but actually it's not too bad. So that's good. And then this is their, it's like a mini of their Lights Camera Lashes mascara. So I haven't used this before. It's got like this leather look, leather feel case, which is kind of cute. And this is, so it's a 4-in-1 mascara, so I think it's supposed to like lengthen and thicken and all of those sorts of things. And it's just black, but it has quite a nice brush, like a lot of hairs on there, so it will really grab your eyelashes. I haven't tried this one out yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that. So I will give you a review of that when I try it out in a little bit to do my look. The main reason, okay, so that's all the free things that I got. The main reason that I wanted to do an order from Sephora at this point anyway is because I got an ad for a sale that they were having on this brand, so Zoeva. I always see them when I go into the store. Their products look really lovely. They're kind of made to be like a, to look like chocolate boxes, which is really cute. And I wanted to try some of their eyeshadows because I think they look really cute. And they have some really nice shades and all that sort of stuff. But I'd never tried brands of eyeshadow that weren't drugstore brands before. So I wasn't sure what to expect really. Like, you often see people doing their makeup online and you don't really know what it feels like, what it looks like on your skin, you know, all that sort of stuff. Is it just the way they're applying it that makes it look better than the drugstore brands, or is it because, you know, it works better? So it comes in this box like I just showed you, and then you pull the sleeve off and it's in a little sort of padded box. When you take the lid off, what you get is this. So it looks like chocolate bars basically inside. And then there are 3 different palettes. So this usually retails for, let me check. Yeah, so this usually retails for $116, but at the moment it's 50% off, which is why I bought it. And so it was only $58 for 3 palettes. And usually, even on sale, the Zoeva palettes go for around $22. They're also on sale at the moment, or sometimes more. They're usually $48 a palette. So for $58, I got 3 palettes. So I thought that was worth it, and a good time to try them out, because I'd been eyeing them off for a while. So you get 3 palettes. You get the Caramel Melange palette. You get the Cocoa Blend palette. Like I say, these are all modelled after chocolate blocks. This is the Cocoa Blend palette. And the Blanc Fusion... Whoa! The Blanc Fusion palette. So basically it's supposed to be, you know, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and like a caramel chocolatey kind of a thing. A moment. So if we start with the Caramel Melange palette, and I'll show you what it looks like inside. So I probably won't swatch all of these because there are a lot. And I've actually opened this up already, which is why it looks a little untidy around this shade here. Please don't look at my nails, they need fixing. But what I like to do, to tell if a palette's going to be super pigmented, I look for the colours that are often not pigmented. So the 2 things I'm going to look at in this palette, if I'm going to check for how pigmented it is to look at this white, because often whites are not very pigmented, and we're going to look at this sort of yellowy tone, because the lighter tones like the whites and the yellows are often not very pigmented. When you look at something that's red, especially if it has carmine in it, those are going to tend to be more pigmented. So your reds, your browns, your blues, this kind of stuff. If you're looking at palettes and they do have a yellow or a white in them and you want to test the pigmentation, that's the best way I find. So this whitish shade here is called Wax Paper. And we're going to swatch that on my hand, and then this colour, Almost Burnt. So obviously my skin on the back of my hand is not going to be the best. You can see from here, even from here, how pigmented they are. That's just with 2 swipes basically. How pigmented they are. So that's the bronzer from before. This is the Almost Burnt goldy yellow shade, and this is the white. So you can see from there how pigmented they are. And in person they don't look super pigmented for me, but on camera they're picking up the light a lot more and you can see them a lot more. Obviously my hand skin is not going to be the same as my eyelid skin, so these are going to go on a lot smoother on my eyelids, which are a lot smoother. But yeah, you can see they have pigmentation to them, which is something you don't always see in those lighter colours. So I'm pretty hopeful. Let's swatch one of the darker shades though. We should go with Liquid Center, Edible Gem. They have really cool names. I might go with this Liquid Center one because it has a real shine to it. And both of those have a lot of shine. So you've got some mattes here. This is what I like about these palettes. You can kind of go across and create a look. So you've got a few mattes here, and then you've got one sort of satin shade and then a shimmer. So you can go across this top line and create a look. You can go across this bottom line and create a look. And that's really nice. But shimmers, oftentimes they also don't swatch super well in terms of like transfer. So let's swatch this one and see what we... Whoa, that's a lot of pigment. Like, it's hard for me to even show you because of the lighting in here, but that is... There we go. That is so much pigment. Oh my gosh. And it went on like a dream. Like, even look at the back of my finger. It's it looks copper. I love that. I'm really pleased with those. So hopefully we can make a really beautiful look out of some of those shadows in just a minute. But I'm really pleased with them on first look. Okay, so let's take a look at the other palettes in the kit. I went and washed my hands so we can swatch some more from this palette. This is a darker palette, so the freshly, sorry, what is it? Cocoa Blend. So it has some warmer notes in here. It has more satin shades than the previous one, so you can see here you've got your matte here and then more satin shades across the top. You've got a satin shade here, and you've got some a couple of matte shades here, and then some shimmers. This one is not laid out quite as nicely as the previous one. We didn't go matte, satin, shimmer, and I would have preferred to see that in all of the palettes, especially if they're going to come in the box together. I think creating that in a very well thought out way would have been better. I really like this middle pinky tone here. It's beautiful. So I'm going to swatch that just because I want to see what it looks like. It's really pretty. Less colour payoff than I would have thought with that reddy tone, but it is quite nice. And it's a bit browner than I would have thought in the pan. I would have thought it would be more plummy. On the back of my finger it looks more plummy, so maybe it's just because it's on my hand, but you can kind of see here. Yeah, so that one. And then in this one we don't have like a really yellow colour. So what I might do is swatch this purple, because again it's quite light, and this white up here, and see how they go. Because again, as I say, if you swatch the lighter colours in a palette, you'll often see how pigmented it's actually going to be. So that light purple does not swatch particularly well. But the lighter sort of whiter colour called Bitter Start, that one swatches quite well. So we've got the purple here, Delicate Acidity, and Bitter Start is the white. You can see the purpley colour comes up more black, and it's not super pigmented. The white is way more pigmented in this one than the previous one though. So yeah, I love the colours in that one, but the pigmentation is not necessarily where I'd like it to be, and it wasn't as good as the previous one, and they weren't laid out as well in those pans as the previous ones. So that's interesting to me, because I would have thought that they would have been more uniform across. Okay, and then we have our third and final palette from this range. It's called Blank Fusion. Whoops, and there goes our plastic. So this is Blank Fusion. So this is sort of a cross between the two. It's lighter colours, but there's more difference in the colours. So you can see this one on camera looks quite grey. It's called Sweetness Lingers, but it's a more purpley brown in person. So that's interesting. So there, I'll give you a closer up look. Maybe I should have done that with the previous ones. There we are. So again, I'm going to swatch these. Now, I've already swatched Visions in Gold, and being how yellow that is, I would expect it to not show up very well, and it shows up fantastically, and I'm going to show you that. So I'll show you Visions in Gold. It shows up so beautifully. It's such a creamy texture too. I really like the texture of that one. And then we're going to swatch Noble, and then for comparison I'm going to do Travel Inspired, which is a matte. And is a kind of a pinky matte, because that one didn't really swatch very well in the previous ones. So here we have Travel Inspired at the top, and you can see it matches my skin tone, so it's hard to see, but you can see how much it's smoothed out my skin tone if we look at it. Noble is in the middle, that's the white, and you can see it's quite pigmented, and it looks that pigmented in person too. And then the final one, Visions in Gold. So you wouldn't expect that one, because it's so yellow, to show up so vividly, and it does, and it feels amazing. So I'm really pleased with that one. I quite like wearing yellows with my green hair. It looks really sets my eyes off. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm really happy with that particular colour. Also just going to swatch before we stop here Sweetness lingers because it is a shimmery, really dark brown, and I just want to see how it looks. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm really pleased with this palette. So of the three palettes, what do I think? Initial impressions, I haven't used them on my eyes yet, so I'm going to have to go back and do that. But my initial impressions are, I really love Cocoa Melange, and I really love Blank Fusion. And Cocoa Blend, it didn't really strike me in the same way. Caramel Melange is a really well thought out palette. And you can see in this one, even though we don't have the same order, we've got our shimmers and satins up here, and we've got our mattes down the bottom. So at least they're in some sort of orderly fashion. So if we wanted to do, we could sort of do this, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. You know, so we can incorporate a couple of shimmers, but we have our matte shades there, and at least we can tell them apart. They're not all sort of higgledy-piggledy like the Cocoa Blend palette is. So I would have liked to have seen some more, you know, well thought out ideas when it came to that Cocoa Blend palette, and I'm not really sure why it is that way. Just given that they all come in the same box, they're all from the same company. Whoever did Caramel Melange, please do the others, because the way that that palette is set out is beautiful. So that's my first impressions on the box. Am I glad I bought it? 100%, especially with the discount that I got on it. And it's still on currently, and should hopefully be on when I post this. So if you are looking at these and you really like them, check it out, try and get it on sale, because it is quite expensive, obviously, but you get so much for the money you pay for it. So I think it was very much worth spending what I did to get quite a few different palettes with different shades and neutrals. I don't have a lot of neutrals in my current makeup kit, so for me it was worth it. If you have a lot of neutrals already and you have some good neutral palettes like the Naked palette and things like that, you might not need something like this, but if you're looking to start a collection for everyday looks and for you know, something you can use every day but then add a pop of colour to make it more versatile for more glamorous looks, this is a really good way to start, I think. Especially if you're moving up from drugstore palettes like I am. So I got a couple of these. They're the Cream Lip Shine Liquid Lipsticks from Sephora. This one is number 18. It's Praline Cream. I'll just show you. I've already tried this one on. I absolutely love this colour. I was not 100% sure that I would like it, but having tried it on now, I absolutely love it. So that's what it looks like. And to go with that, I also got a lip liner, which I'll show you. I have to unwrap it because I'm a fool and forgot to unwrap these before I did this video. Okay, sorry about that. Now I've opened them all up. I also got a lip liner to go with it, and this is the Sephora Lip Liner To Go lip liners. They're actually, you know, pretty cheap. I think this one was... yeah, so it's a nano lip liner, so it's a smaller version, and it was only $9. And I got it in a light brown to go with this colour. So I'm just going to swatch them side by side and see if I picked the right colour to go with this. It's actually not far off shade-wise, it'll probably be fine. So there you go, you can see them side by side there. And then I also got this shade in the same liquid lipstick but a different shade. These were on special as well for only $10, so always a good way to diversify your lip shades and eye shades is to check what's on sale. Keep an eye out for them and then buy them when they're on sale so you can try them, and if you don't like them, it's not a huge deal. So this one is number 3, Mauve Spirit. Mauve? I don't know how you say that word, but that's what I got. So this is a pinkier tone than the last one, and you can see them side by side on my hand here. Because again, I wanted sort of neutral pinky tones. And then in the lip liner to go, or nano lip liner, I got the Rosewood to pair with this one, and we'll see if I've made a good choice there. And they do look pretty similar, so I'm pretty happy with that. I managed to choose the right one. So here's the Mauve lip lipstick with the Rosewood lip liner, and here's the Praline Crime liquid lipstick with the light brown lip liner. So you can see they go pretty well together. They glide on beautifully. They make my lips feel really hydrated. They're not transfer proof. I usually go for transfer proof lipsticks because I like to kiss people and drink things and eat food. But oftentimes when I get the transfer proof ones, they are matte. And I do like a matte lipstick, but not all the time. These ones are a bit more shimmery, a bit more satiny. So I was happy to have this, even if it's not transfer proof, because I like the satiny feel and the look of these. If you're going to wear a mask, I probably wouldn't wear these because they will rub off on the inside of your mask. But if you are just wearing them around home, or you know, you're in a place where you don't have to necessarily wear masks anymore because everything's going well, and hopefully that'll be everywhere soon, these are really nice. They go on really well. They're very pigmented, they look beautiful, they don't look overpowering, they cover my whole lip colour so that I'm not sort of worrying about it. And I got the lip liner so that I can overdraw my lips just slightly, and that way I can fill them in with the liquid lipstick. So having a lip liner with your lipsticks, even if they're liquid lipsticks, so with liquids you don't always need it, especially if you're not prone to feathering around your lips. But if you want to overdraw your lips, it's a really great way to do that. Especially if you have thin lips and you like to make them look more pouty. Anyway, that's my thoughts on what I got. So, some people wanted to know how I actually do my makeup. If you're watching this because it's the end of the review video and you're still watching and you notice that my face is shiny, that's because I've just gone and put some moisturizer as a base for my foundation to sit on. You can also use this. It's a primer, so you could use both. This is a smoothing primer. I would often use this, especially if I'm going to be wearing the makeup for a long time, if you want to wear it for a whole day. I'm pretty much out of it and I need to get some more, but it's really good for smoothing out any fine lines, smoothing any dry skin and things that you have. I do moisturizer before mine because, like, a really moistury moisturizer, because I have very dry skin. But you should just always do your skincare routine before you start applying makeup and just let this sink in. So as we're doing that, that's what I'm going to do. So bear with me because this is the first tutorial of makeup I've ever done. I'm not particularly good at my makeup. There are tons of other tutorials that you could watch that would probably tell you better how to do your makeup, but this is what I do. And this is a really honest one because look at my makeup brushes. They look awful. Like, they're not transferring any pigment, but they do certainly need a wash. This is so true to life of how I do my makeup. I sit with my brushes, look at them and go, why didn't I wash those the day before I needed to use them? And just lay everything out in front of me that I'm going to use and just go, alright, where do we go from here? So this is a pretty honest way of how I do my makeup. You might notice that my septum ring is gone. I just push that up into my nose to get it out of the way. It'll just sit up there. That's why I got it, so it can be out or not. So if you notice that, that's why you can't see it. So if you notice that I don't have my nose ring in, it's because it's just hiding at the moment, just to get it out of the way for when I do my makeup. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a damp beauty sponge. So make sure you dampen this before you use it. If you use a dry beauty sponge, it's not going to work as well. So take a damp beauty sponge. I just get these from Kmart for like $2. And I use Sephora Glow foundation. As I said, always know your number with the Sephora brand. That's why I use them for their bases. This is in Clear Light. It's number 10, the Ivory. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this. One pump is like a little dab will do ya. So that's all I need. Take my glasses off so I won't actually be able to see what I'm doing properly because I can't see without them. And I'm just going to use this little handheld mirror to see what I'm doing closer up, and I'm just going to dab it under my eyes here, a little bit down here, stripe down my neck a little so that I can blend that in a minute. I'm going to move my hair out of the way, dab a little bit there, hopefully my hair doesn't get in it. It's the only problem with it now being on my face. And then I'm also going to take my concealer. So concealer is just a lighter base basically, and I'm going to dab that anywhere I want a little bit lighter or a little bit more coverage. So you can see today I've got a lot of pigmentation in my cheeks, so I'm going to cover that up. I've got this little spot here and a lot on my nose and around the base of my nose here. Some people do like a little V here, and I usually do a little dab under my eyes, but I'm applying it with the doe foot, but it's only just one little bit. So you just want a little dab. You don't want to add tons and tons. You might see online where people just add tons and tons to their face, and then it doesn't blend out and it just sits really heavily. So just a little bit. I look pretty weird now, but I'm going to blend this all out. So just tapping it into my skin with the Beauty Blender. I don't know if you can hear that. Little ASMR moment for you there. And we're just gonna tap that into the skin all over. And just blend it together and down the neck. So I'm going to do a little jump cut here so you don't have to watch me blend this out because it takes forever. Okay, so now this is mostly blended out, and a couple things I wanted to point out is, especially if you're going to have your hair back, but even I always do it just because I'm paranoid, is to make sure you're blending your foundation right into your hairline. And also all the way down your neck. So I'm using a swiping motion here. I usually do this just to buff out any lines I've created when I'm dabbing, and just to pick up any excess product if I have a bit too much on my face, which I kind of do right now. Even that little bit that I put on is way too much in some places. So like here between my eyebrows, I put too much here. I usually don't do this V thing that a lot of people do. I just did that to show you guys, and now I have entirely too much product there that is not blended out well. So I'm just using a swiping motion to sort of move that around my face. And just making sure you're getting down your neck so it blends, so you can see, apart from this little discoloration, I have a little stress rash at the moment under here. It blends pretty well down my neck. You can even go all the way down your chest, like I might want to do today because I've got really bad pigmentation there, but that's like a huge amount of product. You can see my face is a lot more white there, I don't know why. A lot more even toned than it was before, and we can use this as a good base for makeup, but my face is still a little sticky and a little tacky from the makeup, and I don't want the pigments to shift around too much now I've got them where I want them. So I'm going to use a fixing powder or a setting powder. Now I really shouldn't use powders because I have a dry face. I should really be using a setting spray, but I'm a cheap ass and I bought this, so I'm going to use it until I'm finished and then I'll get one. So just take a fluffy brush and a little bit of this powder. It is extremely powdery. The one I use is Maybelline Lasting Fix, and it's super powdery. It's probably not something I'd buy again, if I'm honest, because it's hard even for this really fluffy brush to pick up. Whoop. Try and get my KVD contour palette so I can do this, because I have to use a mirror in it so I can see what I'm doing, and I just set all the places that are really in need of it. So between my eyebrows here is really bad, and try and set that a little bit with the powder. So if you have worries about oily skin, a powder is probably better for you, but if it's super oily, sometimes a powder will even cake if it's super oily as well. So just, it's a bit of trial and error with makeup. Try a powder, try a spray, see which one you prefer. So the powder's actually fixed up some of the more splotchy areas on my face today, so the powder's actually not too bad working today. I don't know, your face changes over time too, so sometimes having both in your kit is helpful. So you can sort of guess what your skin's doing that day and try them both out. But you can see my skin tone's a lot more even now. I've taken some of the redness out of my face. We're going to replace that with blush in a minute. And yeah, so I've been able to do that. So now I have... This is why I don't usually have shirts on when I do my makeup, because I get makeup everywhere. So now I've done that, I'm going to go in and contour. Here's a word of warning. I'm not good at contouring. No sir. So don't listen to me when it comes to contour. I take this contour brush, dip it in my contour, and I go down towards my corner of my mouth. Down towards the corner of my mouth. Didn't do that line properly. And then I have a double chin. See under here? So, and I don't have much of a jawline. So I'm going to go in and give myself one and really cut in here, this jawline. Then I'm going to take this fluffy brush and I'm going to buff that out. Buff the jawline out, especially because I've gone in hard there. And you can see it creates a shadow here, which makes it look like I have a better jawline with my front on. And buff this out as well. See, this still looks like a hard line, so you gotta really go in and buff that out. Because I've added too much. In person this is looking fine. On camera you can see a big line there, which sucks. Okay. And then I'm going to take this bronzer that I just got because I want to try it out. Oh, there's a lot of product on there. And I'm going to go just above there, and that's going to help blend it into my skin tone because that's a little lighter. So it's not going to just look like one harsh line. So take the bronzer and do that. I might go under here as well. And this is a more masculine jawline that I'm giving myself. If you want to feminize, you probably wouldn't accentuate that. But because I am a little more mask-leaning at times, I like to do that. You can also soften up your hairline with a little bronzer around it here. So I'm going to buff that out again. Buff it out on this side. Blend this out down here. And you can see we've got a more dimensional look going on already. The other thing you want to do when you're doing your contour is that you also want to create some dimensionality in your face. So you want some lighter shades too. You want something for that contour to play off of. So where you put your contour underneath, just go in with a lighter powder. So this Kat Von D one, or KVD one, sorry, that I've got here, you've got your darker colour and your sort of banana powder up here. I also like to take this and use it on my chin. You can see it takes some of the redness out of my chin. I'm quite red, so I like to sort of take this a lot of places. If you're not as red as I am, you don't need the contrast as much, you don't need to even out as much, then you won't need it as much. But you can see it's really evened out my chin skin tone, and you can see I've created some dimensionality in my face. Gives me a lot more like light and shade to play with, makes me look a lot thinner, which we like sometimes. Okay. So, from there I'm going to move on to the rest of my face powders. So, I just used this Inoxa Line Defying Sheer Blush. Oh, I should have said, the KVD palette is, it's a duo palette. It's refillable. So, the top shade that I have in there is Lucid, and the bottom shade is called Somber. And this one's refillable, so you can pop the pans out of the back with the little holes that are there. You can just put a pin through there and pop them out. You can get new pans, so you don't have to throw away the whole thing all the time, and you can keep your mirror and everything there. You're not wasting it. Yeah, so why do I use this Inoxa blush? Because I never used blush before, because I have quite a blush going on my face most of the time anyway. But I was given this one, and it allows me to shape the redness in my face a little more. So now I've moved into using it. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush here. I don't usually use that brush. Why am I using that brush? It's kind of a... This one is a flatter brush. This one's a rounder brush. So if I want a lot of blush, I'll use the rounder brush, which I'm going to today because I've already put the blush on it. But I oftentimes will use this flatter brush because it allows me a little bit more control. So I'm going to go on the apples of my cheeks here. Wherever you start putting the makeup on is where the most makeup's going to be. So it's important to know where that is. And I'm going to drag it up. So remember to drag your makeup up towards your eyes, especially if you're trying to thin your face out a little bit like I always am. This gives you a bit more lift in your face. So drag it up. Up for the guns, my dear. I like to put a little bit on my nose, because I watch too many TikToks. And we can go around the corner of the eye too, if we want to. And we have some dimensionality in our face. Now let's check it. I gotta put my glasses back on to do that. Take a fluffy brush and blend that out a little. You want to be blending these things sort of into each other, but only a little bit. You don't want the brown to be all the way up here, but you do want to blend it into each other just a little bit. So blend between the shades as well. Again, on camera, this looks more liney, but in person, it doesn't. Except for this right here. I'm just going to blend that out really quickly. Yeah, I just can't get it to look good on camera, but in person it does not look that liney. Especially from a distance, we're good, but for some reason the camera is just making me look really liney today. As I said though, please don't take my advice on how to contour, I'm really bad at it. Okay, so that's our face pretty much done, except for some highlight, and I thought what I would do is use one of these highlighter samples that they gave me. I usually like to go for kind of a goldy highlight, but there's a soft peachy one in here in the middle, so I'm going to try that. I've never used a Becca highlighter before, so I thought, heck, why not? They gave me the free ones, why not give them a shot? I'm just going to take my highlighting brush, which again is one of these flat brushes. I've got a couple of them. Well, that's quite nice. Just pick up some of the product from this Becca free sample. Oh, Oh, she's shiny. Ooh, that's actually really nice. Alright, and we're just going to add that wherever we get shine on our face, which for me is just under here, because I have quite plump cheeks. Ooh, she's shiny, I like. I'm going to add a little bit on the end of my nose, and down the bridge. Ooh. And a little on my chin, where the light sort of hits it. And just because I really like this highlighter, I'm just going to go in above my eyebrow here, which I haven't even defined yet, but... Oh dang, I'm shiny today. I'm a glowing glowworm. Alright, Becca Cosmetics, go on with your bad self, I'm about it. Alright. How does it look in person though? Let's check the mirror. Oh yeah, she nice. I like. That's on the list for next time. Okay. So the next thing I like to do when I do my makeup is I like to do my eyebrows before I do my eyes. The reason is that the eyebrows kind of define the shape that you're going to take with your eyes. So I just buy this Sephora eyebrow pencil in deep brown because I actually kind of like the shape of my eyebrows, and they don't need like a lot of filling in. If you want a tutorial on how to do like the really curated eyebrows that you see on a lot of people doing makeup these days, this is not the one because I don't do it. I just go in here and I fill in the little sparse bits, and I'm going to need a mirror for this because I can't see what I'm doing from that far away. I fill in the bits that are a bit sparse. So around here, give myself more definition towards the end. It looks heavy, but we're going to brush it out in a sec. Give myself a little shape there. And then we're going to brush it just a little bit. I would normally use a spoolie for this, but I broke my last one, so I just used a little brush that's on the back of this, brush, like it comes with the pencil. But you can definitely get spoolies pretty cheaply. I'm just a tightwad, and I keep forgetting whenever I'm close enough by somewhere to get one that's cheap, from one of the drugstores that I go to. It's a little darker than I would normally go, I've got to be honest. I tried to do it with the camera, and it's a little bit darker, but you know, my hair covers most of it anyway, so psh. Yeah, so you can get spoolies really cheaply from like chemists and things like that, but I always forget when I'm there, and I don't want to buy one from Sephora because they're hideously expensive, so I'll just wait. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is my eyes. If you have an eye primer, a proper eye primer, it's better to use than what I'm about to show you, because especially if you have oily eyelids, it's going to work a lot better. But what do I do? Well, I usually use my primer for, not my primer, my concealer on my eyes. I used to have an eye primer. I found this concealer is quite good because it is white, and that gives me more coverage. So you just want a little bit, and you just want to dab it into your eyelid to give you a very neutral base to work from. I have quite dry skin, so I don't have the problem about my eyelids being particularly oily. But if you have oilier skin, you probably want to get yourself a proper eye base. So now that's done, I need my glasses again because I'm going to pick out an eyeshadow look. One moment, please. Okay, so could I have used the Caramel Melange or the Blank Fusion palettes, yes, I could have. Those are in much better order, and so using those is kind of like easy mode, right? Oops, I bumped my microphone. It's kind of easy mode. So I want to show you how I would make a look with this palette because it's a bit more confusing to work with. And this is just how I make a look. Lots of people make looks different ways, and it's going to depend on your eye shape, sorry, just trying to move my hair out of my way. It's going to depend on your eye shape, how hooded your eyes are, and this kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is take a very disgusting dirty brush, and I like to start with my lighter tones and place them down first. So I'm going to start with this one here. It's called Bitter Start, and it's a white tone. And we know that this one wasn't very pigmented before, but we're going to give it a shot. Maybe on our eyeshadow. So what I like to do is once I've got some product on the brush, I tap it on the back of my hand so that I'm not getting a lot of fallout on my face. So then it's stuck in. And what you want to do is just tap this into the skin. So we're just going to go under the eyebrow. There, this is just going to be our, like, almost a highlighting shade under the eyebrow. It's not very pigmented. I'm not particularly happy with it, to be honest. And I probably would not use this one again, but I wanted to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to take that shade and we're going to tap it under our eyebrows again on this side. I do everything at the same time. I know some people do one eye and then they'll come and do the other, but I like to do all my eyes at the same time. Okay, so that's our highlight shade. You can see it's under our brow bone here. On camera, this looks a lot more pigmented than in person, so maybe this is okay for camera. I'm just going to blend that out now that I can see it from a distance so I can see better with my glasses on. Right, so that's our highlight shade. You really shouldn't breathe on your makeup, but I'm the only one that uses it, so it's fine. And then we're going to go in with the same disgusting dirty brush because... and we're going to go in with... I like to put something darker as a transition shade and then lighter on the bottom of my lids. So I really want to try this, but... See, it's swatching better now, so maybe I just needed to take the top layer off that one. So I'm going to go in with this one called Warm Notes that we looked at before, and I'm going to put that as my transition shade. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do my base shade first, in the middle of my eye and out, because it's going to be lighter than this. So I'm going to go in with... Oh, do we want Freshly Toasted? How does she look? Or Substitute for Love? Let's have a look. We just swatch those. Yeah, I'm going to go in with Substitute for Love because I want my eye look to be open today. I want to show... I want to be bright and look awake. So we're going to go in with the shade Substitute for Love. And I'm just going to tap that in the middle of my eye here. And then pull it out towards the end. And we're going to go a little bit inwards, but we don't want to go right into the corner. Especially not if you're trying to feminize your eyes. So if you have deep eye wells, which a lot of people who are assigned male at birth have, if you want to feminize your eye shape, you want to have a really bright color in the middle that's going to open your eye outwards and bring that depth forward. So if you're assigned male at birth, that's a good way to feminize your eye shape. And we're just going to do the same thing on this side. And we're just going to bring it, I like to bring my eyeshadows up and out a little bit at the side, to sort of start to create the wing that we're going to create with our eyeliner in a little bit. And if you don't like to use winged eyeliner, this is a good way to get a wing on your eyes without having to do winged eyeliner. Okay, so what are we going to use to bring a pop of brightness to the middle of our eyes. We're going to go in with Sweeter End here because this is a lighter one, but it's not as light as our highlighting colour. So I'm going to go in with Sweeter End, and I'm going to pop that in the corner of my eye. Hopefully that's not, yeah, that's nice and bright. So I'm going to pop that in the corner. I've gone a little too far in here. Just wipe that with my finger. This one's not super pigmented, but we'll give it a try anyway. And then we're going to go in with our transition shade, which, as I said before, is this shade, Warm Notes. So this is where I like to put my darker colour, my more colourful colour, if you like, and we take that into the crease. We're going to extend that out at the end. So we're going to take it into the crease and extend it out at the end. This one doesn't really go with the other colours I chose. But we can blend them and it'll be fine. So you want to look at it with both your eyes open too, so you can see whether you can see the depth of colour or not. And that'll depend on where you want to actually put your makeup up to. Oh, I've gone a little too high there. Because if you're just doing it with your eyes closed, you won't see what it's going to actually look like to people looking at your face. So do it with your eyes open and just add it in, especially if you have hooded eyes. Mine are slightly hooded, so I'm going to do that. Alright, then I'm going to take a fluffy brush, which I have here, and I'm going to just blend this all together. You don't want to blend it so much that it becomes one muddy colour, but you do want to blend it so that you don't have any sort of really harsh lines. I actually don't mind a bit of a line here, but you want to blend it so that your colours sort of run into one another. And I'll put my glasses on so I can make sure that I've done that. If you want it to be more smoky, you would keep blending. I kind of like this more lined look, which you can't really see with my glasses on. So I leave it at that. But if you want it more smoky, you definitely could keep blending it out until it's really smoky. So what do I do next? Usually now is when I would do my eyeliner. The problem with showing you that is that I'm bad at it on a good day, and I definitely can't do it in a tiny mirror. So, look, I'm going to give it a go, but it's probably going to go terribly. Because I'm still learning how to do it the way that everyone does it now. I used to do my winged eyeliner with a kohl pencil, would you believe? Back in the day. And I've gotten no better at it. Now, one of the big things to remember when using liquid eyeliner like this, this is a felt tipped liquid eyeliner that I like to use, and it's just a Sephora brand one, it's pretty cheap, is that you want to dry it before you open your eye, or you're going to get it all over that beautiful eyeshadow you just did. So if you have a fan, now would be a good time to use one. I don't have one handy. But I do have these note cards, so use that. And now when I open my eye, it's not getting everywhere. So we can see the line we just made with our eyeshadow, and we just want to kind of follow that with our eyeliner. And it's getting everywhere, and I'm not doing a very good job. So I'm sorry that this is not going to look that great. There are tons of tutorials about how to perfect this online. I am not your man when it comes to this. I just do what I do, and it don't look that great, to be honest. Because I have hooded eyes, I do my eyeliner like this, so straight on it looks like a wing, but you can see it kind of looks a bit batty like this, and you can see tons of tutorials on how to do that online as well. So I'm going to attempt this other eye now. This is always my worst eye too, so I'm sorry guys. They say to start with your worst eye, and usually I do, but today I started with the left eye because it was easier to access for me. And I can't see what I'm doing at this distance, so this is all by feel, I'm afraid. So again, please don't use this as an example. I'm just going to fan my face really quickly to dry this. Some note cards that I hope you can't see the writing on. Alright. Yeah, this one's real messy. But you know, I ain't going anywhere today, so it's fine. Look, we've seen one eye. Let me go clean this one up and we'll be right back. Alright, so when I put my winged eyeliner on, I've made a mistake. I've drawn my wing too high, and then I've gone in to put it back in lower. Now, what you could do is just, I mean, it's kind of a look. You could just fix it up and do the same thing on the other side and roll with it, which is often what I do. If I make a mistake, I just go, now it's a feature. But something I was taught by one of the makeup artists I watch online is to get a little bit of your primer if you make a mistake, and you can just go in and just tap it on there, and then take a cotton bud with nothing on it and just roll it over the area, which is hard to do with these flat cotton buds I have, but anyway, and just lift that away, and it'll help you get it off without ruining the entire eye look you've just created. And you can see I also didn't dry this quite enough, so there's a little smudge up there. I'll just go in, fix this up. This has saved me a bunch of times from taking my whole eye look off and starting again, so. Now I have a little bit smudged under my eye on one side, so I'm going to just do the same on this side. The thing about eyeliner is, and a mistake some people make, is that they go all the way around their eyes. Do the top, sure, and do the bottom to a point, but you don't really want to go past the midpoint or maybe a little bit further on your eye, otherwise you're going to close your eye off and make it look really small. We want the eyes to be big, to be eye-catching, so we want to leave that open. Do my wings look like sisters? No. Do they look like cousins? Still no, but we're going to leave it at that. That's fine. Okay, last step for the eyes. And I don't know why I keep closing my mirror, because I still need it. I'm going to take this. This looks like a very intimidating tool, but it is an eyelash curler, and it will save your life, especially if you don't use fake eyelashes. I sometimes do. I'm not going to do it today, but this will really make your eyes pop. So you want to take it, rest it just off your skin on your eyelashes, and just press. I like to give it a bit of a bounce, and it curls my eyelashes up and makes them look more full. We want to do that before we put our mascara on our eyes. So again, you'll be able to do this by feel. You can feel where it's pressing, you can feel if it's going to pinch. Just press really lightly so you know it's not going to pinch your eye socket the first time, and once you know it's not, you can just bounce it away to help curl your eyelashes. I never thought that made a difference before, and I resisted buying an eyelash curler and using one for the longest time because they look really intimidating, but it makes all the difference. So now we're going to try this Tarte mascara. And I like to just place it near the base of my eyelashes and drag up. Oh wow, this is beautiful, you guys. I'm really pleased with this, and especially since it was free. If you notice your eyelashes are kind of clumping together, you can sort of give your mascara a wiggle. Whoops, I got a dot on my eye look here because my lashes are now heading for the heavens. We're eyelashes for the gods now. Now I've got a big black smudge there though. Let that dry. Try not to open your eyes too wide after you've done this because it will hit the top of your eye socket. And again on the other side. Wow, I really like this mascara. It's quite good. It really is lengthening, you guys. This is hard to do when you have to hold the mirror. Make sure you hit those bottom lashes too. If you don't have a lot of bottom lashes, just make sure you get at least the outer corner ones. So it's really going to open your eye up. Wow. I really like this mascara. I'll probably buy it again. And it has a strange smell to it though. What does it smell like? Like candy? I don't know, it's weirdly sweet. Anyway, just double check. I've got a little bit of a smudgy under there. I'm just going to take a Q-tip and clean it up because just like life, nothing is perfect. And that's our eyes done. The eyes are always the hardest part, I find. So now I can put my glasses on and completely mitigate all the work that I did because you can't really see my eyes, but it makes me feel good, and that's the important thing. We've used a lot of browns today and pinks. So I think I want to use, I'm not sure whether I want to go more pinky toned or brown toned. I think I'm going to go with the brown today. So I'm going to take the lip liner to go crayon lip liner in light brown, and I need a mirror again because I can't do this in the camera. My face is too far away from it, and I'm just going to slightly overdraw my lips.